one.
1 hour, Albert Breer, Monday Morning Quarterback, will join us. Great to have you in. Matt Barnes, terrific. Chris Broussard, Albert Breer today on Monday Morning Quarterback. Albert Breer is writing an article, and he's writing about Kyler Murray. He is the quarterback for Oklahoma that's going to enter the draft. Now, I've said before, I think he's a first-round talent in 2019. Ideally, I'd rather have a 6'3.5", 220-pound guy who runs a little less. A big component to Kyler Murray's game is running. It's why I'm very cautious about Mitch Trubisky. I'm very cautious about Lamar Jackson. Now, Russell Wilson can do it. I've never seen anybody as gifted at Russell Wilson. And Steve Young did it. So you can have running as an essential part of your game, but I think athletes are bigger and stronger than ever in the NFL. I'd rather you not run a ton. A couple times you take off. I'd rather you run to throw, run to get space. But 3 different people, scouts, GMs, talked to Albert Breer, and here were the quotes about Kyler Murray and why he is so valuable to all of us. First, AFC executive said, kid's way better than Lamar Jackson, better arm, more accurate, better anticipation, better processor, better athlete. I think he's better across the board than Lamar. Let me just say this. I think he is a better thrower than Lamar. That, to me, is not disputable, so I agree with that executive. Will he be as transformative as Lamar was? I don't know. But is he a better prospect? I think he is as a thrower. I do worry about his size. The second AFC college scouting director said, listen, he's really good. He throws the ball well. There's no throws he can't make. I don't think him being small is a big factor. Let me address that. Small is a factor, but I had Lincoln Riley on the radio Friday talking about his size, and here's what his college coach said.
Athletically, there's no comparison to this guy. I mean, this is like Barry Sanders running with the football as a quarterback. I'm not saying he's as good a runner as Barry Sanders, but the guy that has elite speed, elite quickness, and has a feel for not taking big hits when he runs. Even though he ran more than Baker did, he took way, way less hits because he is so athletically gifted that he just avoids them. He just doesn't take big shots, and he's smart about it as well.
Then Albert Breer got a third opinion from another AFC executive. And that executive said, basically a little caution to the wind, saying, great offensive line, hasn't been hit a ton, the passing skills are there, but he didn't get hit much in college. I agree with that as well. That's what worries me. But here's the thing, and we do this a lot, not just in sports, but in life. We're always looking for the next blank. You also have to look for the new blank. Uber is not the next taxi. It's a new way to get around town. We had an issue in the NFL for years that 50% of the first-round quarterbacks were busts because they all had to fit this one prototype. 6'3.5", 225, stay in the pocket. But the more variables that work, the more types of quarterbacks that work, we should root for Kyler Murray because it'll mean fewer crappy quarterbacks and fewer dead teams. Cincinnati with Andy Dalton kind of feels dead. Jacksonville, Blake Bortles kind of feels dead. If Kyler Murray works, I mean, let's be honest, he looks like a punt returner. When I look at him, I think he'd be a great punt returner. If guys that play a little bit like a punt returner with an arm work, that is a huge win for all of us if you love football. It's a huge win for GMs, fewer busts, coaches, fewer busts, fans, better product. So I find myself, he may not be my ideal quarterback, but God, I'm rooting for him to win. God, I'm rooting for him to be interesting. There's got to be more than one prototype that works in this league. Listen, Trubisky wouldn't be my guy, but Mitch Trubisky got to the playoffs. And Lamar Jackson wouldn't be my guy, but Lamar Jackson got to the playoffs. You know who didn't? Joe Flacco. Sit in the pocket, 6'3.5" guy that throws darts. So Kyler Murray, like, even if you wouldn't draft him, root for him. I was saying this driving to work this morning, thinking this. The great thing about Whole Foods, you don't have to like organic. Sometimes I think it's overrated. Sometimes I like it. I think it's a bit too expensive. But it's important that Whole Foods worked because it added another type of grocery store. And all I'm looking for is options. That's all I'm looking for. If I was a general manager in the NFL, I'm just looking for options. What if we only had one type of receiver? He runs fast and straight down the field. We don't. Sometimes you have possession guys, slot guys, small guys, OBJ, finesse guys, power guys.
Right. There's really the only position that you would think of, or positions, is the offensive line. Like in general, you got to have a big, large,
big butt,
strong offensive line.
Long arms.
It's not really interchangeable.
Right.
But even on the defensive line, they don't necessarily have to be the same.
Aaron Donald's 6 feet tall. That's all he is. He's 6 feet tall. He's not towering. Some guys are, like, to your point, we should all be rooting for Kyler Murray, because for the next 50 years, if I can also use 5'8" quarterbacks who look like punt returners, you're gonna
imagine the talent pool you've just expanded into.
Exactly. The talent pool explodes. That's all I want. Steph Curry was a mold breaker. Steph Curry. Russell Wilson was a mold breaker. Tiger Woods. Golfers weren't ripped. Now it's like Tiger competes against himself.